Vivek Kajju there. I disagree with him, but no one can question his experience or his intellect. Finally, the Taliban has taken over Afghanistan and Pakistan is gloating. Pakistanis are celebrating the Taliban takeover like a personal victory. I wonder why. Let's debate.
Taliban is discussing the future of a government led by it in Doha. And Afghanistan is already seeing the impact of what it means to be governed by Taliban terrorists. The foreign minister of Pakistan is endorsing the Taliban takeover publicly, even as Kabul weeps for help. And Imran Khan is making no bones about welcoming the Taliban with open arms. In fact, the Pakistan-Taliban alliance was always an open secret. It has only been formalized now. But Pakistan is living in a fool's paradise if it thinks that it can insulate itself from the havoc the Taliban is beginning to wreak across the Durand Line. Has it forgotten how Pakistan is already staring at a refugee crisis stemming from Afghanistan? Is Pakistan ready for a resurgence of the banned Tehreek-e-Taliban that did this? Is Pakistan in denial about the onslaught that will ensue by enabling the Taliban when even the snakes in their own backyard have turned against them? Is Pakistan ready for the Taliban to lay claim on all the lands where Pashtuns live, knowing fully well that in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pashtuns make up 78% of the population? Is Pakistan ready to lose its all-weather ally to the Taliban when China says it is willing to develop friendly relations with Afghanistan's Taliban, rendering Pakistan useless?
中方注意到，昨天阿富汗塔利班方面表示，阿富汗战争业已结束，将协商建立开放包容的伊斯兰政府，并采取负责任行动，确保阿富汗公民和外国驻阿使团安全。中方期待这些表态能够得到落实，确保阿富汗局势实现平稳过渡，遏制各类恐怖主义和犯罪行径，让阿富汗人民能够远离战乱，重建美好家园。
Or is it simply that Pakistan is so consumed by the idea that if the Taliban can do it in Afghanistan, maybe the LET and JEM will finally be able to take control of Pakistan without continuing under the garb of a farcical democracy led by Imran Khan? Let's debate.
With us tonight is Major Gaurav Arya, of course, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, Tariq Fateh from Canada, Lalit Ambardar from Pakistan, Abdul Samid Yaqub, spokesperson of the PTI, Hamid Khan, General Bakshi, of course, Hamid Khan from Lahore, and Rana Ihsan Afzal Khan, leader of the PML. I just want a clarification on behalf of all people in India. Tariq Fateh, what is Pakistan celebrating? They've been celebrating like they won some, kabaddi match. What are they celebrating?
I think, Mr.
What are they celebrating?
Should go back, study
yeah.
Ambedkar Sahab ko study. If they read it, you will get an idea. And what he said about the Muslim Ummah. And if is my sound okay? Hello?
No, once I have a problem with the audio, I'll come back to you. I'd like to, I can't hear you here. I'm going to ask Hamid Khan. Hamid Khan, can you explain to General Bakshi, Rana Ihsan Afzal Khan, perhaps you can, because I don't see Hamid on the screen. What is Pakistan celebrating? Please tell all of us, what are you celebrating? Mr. Khan.
Yes, I can hear you. I don't think the state is celebrating anything.
Louder. Can you hear me?
Nothing to celebrate. Yes, I can hear you. I think what we
louder, please. I can't hear you.
Would celebrate is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Come on.
Can I respond?
Yes. So I don't think we are celebrating anything, or the state is celebrating anything. We would celebrate if the Taliban would try to form an inclusive government of all the ethnicities in Afghanistan. That would be something to celebrate. If women are emancipated, and that would be something to celebrate. But I don't think currently Pakistan is celebrating anything, as this victory can also spur extremist tendencies in Pakistan. And the terror groups like TTP which have been the enemies of Pakistan, they could become active. So I don't think there is anything to be celebrating over here. But we keep on hearing that Pakistan has a role behind it. I don't see that there is any role of Pakistan behind this. We have been trying to broker a peace deal. We could not, and I think that we should not be given so much credit that we have influence in Mazar-e-Sharif, which is near Uzbekistan, or if we have influence in Qila-e-Naw or in Herat, which is near Turkmenistan.
Abhishek.
Hamid Khan,
Abhishek in the middle.
then be gracious enough and then to TTP, please add the names of LET, add the names of Hizbul, add the names of Jaish-e-Mohammed, because they all cohabit with Taliban.
Yes, any extremist organization which kills innocent people, any organization should be condemned.
Well, so you are very aware of the fact that the massacre that took place, very unfortunate incident that took place at the Army Public School, was a work of those associated with the Taliban. That Bhutto killing was connected with some Taliban elements. That recently, Taliban have reached Gilgit-Baltistan, which actually is an occupied territory.
Okay, let me respond. It was TTP which was involved
in the recent
massacre.
bus attack at Ko in Kohistan, where 9 Chinese soldiers lost their lives, a connection to Taliban is emerging.
Well, I think over there the connection to RAW is more relevant rather than the Taliban. I don't think there was a connection to TTP over there. We have literally defeated TTP in Pakistan.
I just want to,
but they can re-emerge.
Hamid Khan, let me just tell you one thing here, please. Hamid Khan, all right. Now listen to me. I just want to tell you something. You might like to say raw, whatever you call it.
Hamid Khan.
But the fact of the matter is that your Chinese masters disagree with you, sir.
Yeah. Exactly.
The Chinese masters say this is the handiwork of the Taliban. And your own army chief, General Qamar Javed Bajwa, has given a briefing to your parliament in which he says that there is no difference between the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban. It is only you who make a difference between the good Taliban and the bad Taliban.
Hamid agrees with you, actually. I think Hamid Khan is agreeing with you. He's nodding furiously.
Apart from that, I'll tell you two things. One, whatever we were talking for the last few days, right, and we were thinking that Taliban is never going to take over Kabul or everything. We have seen that Taliban has taken over the Kabul. Taliban are not the one which you are thinking.
I don't understand one thing, Hamid Khan. I just want to ask you one thing. Just stop right there. Stop right there.
Happiness emerges.
You know what? Hamid Khan, you know what? Hamid Khan, we've caught you. We've caught you.
I
just want to ask Hamid Khan one thing. Hamid Khan, you celebrate the Chinese, some other nation. You celebrate the Taliban, some other nation. You celebrate Turkey, some other nation. Don't you have anything in your own country to celebrate? I mean, come on.
Yes.
You're celebrating Taliban, which is a terror outfit.
I'll tell you, we will celebrate when...
Please tell me something Pakistani to celebrate. Let's have something Pakistani to celebrate.
When in Srinagar, freedom fighters will get
Sir,
freedom,
forget about Srinagar. I'm not giving you a visa for Srinagar. Tell me, please celebrate something Pakistani today. Let's hear about it.
This is a trailer for India.
Maybe your Olympic medals we can celebrate today.
India interest and General G.D. Bakshi
trigger for India. Trigger for India.
I'm telling you, because General G.D. Bakshi has admitted yesterday that Indian
General G.D. Bakshi oversaw the dismemberment of your country. Please don't provoke him.
Yes, General G.D. Bakshi has admitted that our
General Bakshi's turn, please. Hamid, General Bakshi is responding to you. General G.D. Bakshi, please. General Bakshi.
Afghanistan जाते हुए. This is General G.D. Bakshi admitted yesterday on a live program. Perhaps you missed it. General G.D. Bakshi has admitted...
Nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. Live. Nothing of the sort. General Bakshi can give it back to you now, please. Thank you.
I can show you
General Bakshi respond.
General G.D. Bakshi.
Arnab,
and secondly, General, 1 minute, please.
Arnab, can I, sir, with your kind permission, please have my say?
Ahmed, 1 minute.
Rather than you explaining what I have to say.
General Bakshi.
Thank you.
He will respond to you, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then give me a time.
Arnab, I would like to state one thing, that the real state in Pakistan is not the political establishment. It is the deep state led by General Bajwa and the ISI generals, right? Now, this deep state has a deeply entrenched habit of hubris and triumphalism, all right? Listen to me carefully. Of hubris and triumphalism, which has often in the past led them to overreach, overextend, and make serious errors of judgment. The situation in Afghanistan, my friend, let me, I have also studied Afghanistan in great detail, right? Let me tell you, is prone to sudden and non-linear changes. I would advise our Pakistani interlocutors not to gloat, please let me finish. I would advise my Pakistani interlocutors not to gloat, because you could still get many very sharp about turns in Afghanistan. If you do a pattern analysis of events there, that is precisely what has happened not once but several times over. The problem in Afghanistan is the demography. 50% of the Afghans, more than 50% in fact, are Uzbeks, Tajiks, Hazaras, Ismailis, right?
But this time,
these fault lines are going to come into play because the Taliban is a fractured force.
These Uzbek,
it is not a disciplined force.
General?
It is not a disciplined force. You have injected a whole lot of people from the madrasas who are not listening to your command, higher command in the Taliban. So we are seeing all the atrocities.
This is the,
I'll just finish. My friend, I'll just finish. So I'm saying that you could get either the ethnic fault lines back into action, back into play, or you will get the warlords and local sentiments back into play. The Taliban has overplayed its hand by asking for all women from 15 to 40, right? And I don't think the Afghans quite like that. The Afghan is self-respecting and proud. And if the Taliban is going to do gimmicks like this, then you are heading for trouble and serious non-linear changes. Thank you.
General Bakshi, I agree with you.
I want to add just one thing. I want to add one thing here, one thing just to get everybody in. Just to get everybody in.
Give me a minute.
Pakistan is today the only nation in the world, Abdul Samad Yaqub, that seems very interested in giving away whatever semblance of sovereignty it has left. You are fully aware that in Bagram, yesterday, I'm not saying whatever I feel like. I never say whatever I feel like. Of course, we are in a democracy. I can say whatever I feel like. But I base it on facts, opinion, knowledge, reading, reason, logic.
I really wish we
and other such things which you lack. My question is, my question is to Abdul Samad Yaqub. Mr. Yaqub,
if you don't
yesterday,
want me to reply,
and Tariq Fateh knows about this.
General Bakshi's, I listen General Bakshi's.
I'll come to you. Mr. Yaqub, yesterday at Bagram, the Taliban released Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan prisoners, and you know TTP is completely, you are aware, Tariq Fateh committed to the idea of a greater Afghanistan, which includes the Pashtun-dominated areas in your northwest across the Durand line. The point I'm trying to make, I'm sure Tariq Fateh can throw more light on it, that eventually this TTP is going to be Islamabad's biggest headache. Tariq Fateh, what do you think? You know, this, they're going to challenge large parts of Pakistan as well.
None of the Afghan parties recognize the Durand line. When Pakistan was created, the only country that opposed its creation was Afghanistan and King Zahir Shah, because they do not recognize a Durand line that cuts across the Pashtun lands simply on the basis of the whims and fancies of a British bureaucrat. This was not Punjab being divided by Sikh and Muslim, or Bengal that was divided between Muslim and Hindu Bengalis. This was Muslim Pashtuns being divided by Muslim Pashtuns by the British by taking into view the end of the Cold War, because they were scared what the Red Army could do. And King Zahir Shah's, from that time on, when Afghanistan was a very progressive state, up to the 60s, 70s, when people went to Kabul as tourists and came back to Peshawar in shock that what an advanced society it was. The point being that Pakistan celebrates anything which clicks into its psyche of what Mr. Ambedkar said, that they are only loyal to the cooperation which is called the Ummat. They are not loyal to any land. That is why 90% of Pakistan.
But they are being Tariq Fateh. But Tariq Fateh, in the present context, yes. it is my submission, which I'm sure my more learned friends Abhishek and Gaurav can add on this. You see, Abdul Samad Yaqub, I'll give you one more example. See, the Taliban hate you. Whoever in the world has told you that the Taliban will listen to you, they hate you, they resent you.
Yeah.
In coming days, they will battle you, and sooner than you think, I am telling you, take it from me in writing, they will take you over. In fact, in the late 1990s, Mr. Yaqub, I want to have a reasonable argument. Mr. Yaqub, I'll give one example and then I'll close. I'll tell you. You remember in the 1990s why the Taliban? Can you hear me, Mr. Yaqub? Can you hear me? I see you put your phone there. You got disconnected. I think 1 minute. I'll give you one small point. Small point. Hamid, 1 minute. Hamid, please be patient. Hamid, I'll take one line to make a point. All I'm saying is in the 1990s, Hamid, you gave the Taliban second-hand, third-hand weapons.
Okay.
They hated you and they resented you. They reached out to Victor Booth.
I am just saying, okay.
In the 1990s, Abhishek.
Exactly.
And they wanted to gain some level of autonomy from Rawalpindi in accessing weapons. Even then in the 1990s, they did not like Rawalpindi. You think now, having gained control of Kabul, they will deal with you? You're out of your mind.
Yes.
They have not made a single statement not agreeing or agreeing with the Durand line. You know, they have not made a single statement against Islamic State. You think you can deal with this Taliban who show that kind of independence?
Yes. I want to make a point here to Hamid. Hamid Khan is feeling very happy and jolly. Hamid Khan, hear this. Hamid Khan, hear this. Hear this. Hamid Khan, hear this. Have you heard of Brigadier Mohammad Yusuf? I'm sure you have not. He's written a book called The Bear Trap. Of course you don't read. Anyway, he was an ISI brigadier, Mohammad Yusuf, and he wrote a book. And he was with General Hamid Gul.
Keep you reading
and in Bear Trap,
we want you to read
the book that he's written, The Bear Trap, listen to me, please. Listen to me. See, I'll tell you, you hang around with me, you'll get educated. Hang around.
No.
Hold on.
No.
Now, basically what happened was that ISI, he says, now listen to me, please, see, this is somebody else's job, okay, that I'm doing. You've got to respect my time, please. I'm not supposed to educate you, but I am. Now, what he did and what he writes on the record is that the ISI took money in the Bear Trap. He says the ISI took money, they took weapons from the CIA, they landed at Karachi, through Karachi in Bin Qasim port, they took it to Torkham, and not everything reached the Afghans. The Pakistan army had been stealing for the Americans. This is Brigadier Mohammad Yusuf, and the book here is called The Bear Trap. I have a copy of it at home, and I can lend you this book, please. This is the book. Please go and read it. This is by your brigadier. You stole money from the Americans. You're still stealing money from the Americans. Yes, please read this book.
Why do you have these worries?
I want to come in, sir.
Pakistan knows that how to handle Taliban. Pakistan knows how to handle Indian proxies in Kabul. Pakistan have all Indian proxies in Kabul.
No, you don't know. Lalit.
And now all your...
No. You see.
I want to come in now.
Like a loser.
No.
I want to come in.
Just a point. No. I'll let Lalit come in. Thank you. Hamid, I've given you a full turn. Your basic premise, your basic argument, Hamid, which you're saying is No. Lalit will respond. I'll paraphrase what you've said.
That
You say
India
we are
has
global
lost
experts in
its
handling terrorist
narrative
groups.
war in Kabul.
You are saying
No,
we are the world's #1
Yes.
leading expert in creating and
No,
managing terrorist
I am
groups.
just
Lalit will respond to you, then
saying
I'll come in
that
with a
we
historical
have
reference. Lalit.
I am just
Lalit,
saying
please.
that we
Yes.
have kicked out
Lalit.
supporting
Arnab,
proxies
this
from
is not a
Kabul.
faux pas.
Lalit and Abdul Samad
Arnab,
Yaqub, please,
this
if
is
the
not
phone
a
line is
faux
on.
pas.
This is
Yeah,
allowed
let me speak, sir. Let me speak.
This is allowed
This is
for
not
India.
a faux pas.
Right.
This is the swaggering of Pakistanis, and remember, Pakistanis have been indulging in subversion in Afghanistan long before Taliban and Mujahideen were born or Soviets invaded Afghanistan. It's only after
Louder,
the
please. Can't hear.
Mujahideen, the Pakistanis thought that Mujahideen are going beyond in control. They thought after the withdrawal from Soviets, they will have a deep depth in Central Asia and created Taliban to be their veritable arm. But today's Taliban is a fractional group. You have Tehrik-e-Taliban, you will have Pashtuns, and Pakistanis know that no Pashtun recognizes Durand Line. And you know Pakistan, this Pashtun Tahaffuz movement in Pakistan is gaining ground day by day. It's only to divert their attention, protect their Taliban, these Pashtun areas. They are banking too much on these Taliban now. And remember, Uzbeks,
Lalit,
and then you have East
Lalit, therefore,
Turkestan.
can you hear me, Dr. Mr. Abdul Samad Yaqub, can you hear me? Mr. Yaqub, can you hear me? Mr. Yaqub and General Bakshi.
Loser.
No, we lost the line there with him again.
Episode is going to be Pakistan. They lose their Pashtun-dominated areas.
Yeah.
Arnab, can I just make a quick point? It's essential. Arnab, can I please?
No, 1 minute. 1 minute, please. I can't have everyone on. I'm requesting Rana, Issa and Afzal. Okay, I've got Abdul Samad back and General Bakshi is there. Let's speak properly. Let me just tell you one thing. Abdul Samad Yaqub,
I
admit you are scared. The first country to shut down the General Bakshi. Just one point to Abdul Samad, and I'm coming to you. Yeah. Abdul Samad, why did you shut down your entire border with Afghanistan yesterday? You hurriedly shut down the Torkham border after the Taliban took over.
We have reopened it.
You are completely scared in reality. What's
No.
Yeah.
We have reopened it, and we thought we were expecting that the people over there in Afghanistan were in panic and. They may migrate to Pakistan in mass level, in a huge level. So we have shut down for the safe to remain the safe side. And by the way, I am not apologetic. Yes, we celebrated it. We celebrated the fall of Kabul in the same manner, the way you did celebrated on 16 December 1971, and Indira Gandhi at that time quoted that we have sunk two-nation theory in the Arabian Sea, and we have crushed the interest of Indian interest in the Rocky Mountains of the Afghanistan.
One minute. Just a minute. Before General Bakshi comes in, viewers, I'll just one line, General Bakshi, handing it over to you. Viewers, a Pakistani called Abdul Samad Yaqub, spokesperson for the PTI, has admitted on television today that for 50 years he's still nursing the wound of 1971. I knew it was deep.
Yes,
I didn't know it was this deep. General Bakshi will respond.
I'm telling you, I can
Arnab, since I was a personal witness.
General Bakshi is responding, please.
May I highlight to you, please, to our Pakistani interlocutors, I was part of that war, right? May I highlight to you the difference between what happened in Dhaka and what happened in Kabul. We went on our own steam, 550 kilometers inside then East Pakistan from 3 directions, right? We hoisted the tricolour with the force of our arms. We didn't do a piggyback ride on a terrorist outfit, all right? We did it ourselves. And we had Lieutenant General Abdullah Khan Niazi, Hilal-e-Jurrat, Sitara-e-Pakistan, in tears, handing over his pistol to Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora, and the total number of prisoners who surrendered was not 93,000, it was 97,480. That's the difference between Kabul that you are celebrating and the Dhaka that we celebrated. Number one. May I now tell you a very just one second. May I now just put across to you
Gauravaria to Abdul Samad.
Abdul Samad.
Gauravaria.
Abdul Samad. I don't understand one thing. Why are you celebrating the Taliban? आपने तो कुछ करा ही नहीं है.
If a Pashtun entity comes up, you know, in Afghanistan, it can only have two centers of gravity. Either it could be Peshawar or it could be Kabul. If it happens from Kabul onwards, you, sir, will lose Peshawar. You will lose Peshawar. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Sir, further to what General G.D. Bakshi said, I would just like to add one small little point. There is another city, sir, which has maximum number of Pashtuns in Pakistan. And that is not Peshawar, sir. That is Karachi. Karachi has the maximum number of Pashtuns.
Absolutely. Tariq Fateh. Abhishek also comes in and Tariq Fateh, and then Abhishek coming in on the debate. Abhishek, you want to go first? Abhishek. Abhishek and then Tariq Fateh on the left. Yeah.
All right.
You carry on.
Okay, so I wanted to add one point to what Gauravaria said. You know, Abdul Samad is not on the same page with his own national security advisor, Mohid Yusuf. 2 days back, he has said that Pakistan, the world is leaving Pakistan in an impossible situation next door. So are you even aware of what your security establishment assesses the situation to be?
I have my personal opinion.
Because he's not even a Pakistani, he's an American.
You are being happy. Your national security advisor is in trepidation.
I don't want to be
No, but he's going to leave. So he like Ashraf Ghani, is virtually an American citizen. My point is, you see Abdul Samad Yaqub, on a serious note, I just want to go back to the 90s and give you that reference. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, please. Can I speak? Yes, Rana Ihsan Afzal Khan of the PML.
Can I speak? Yeah.
You see, in 1996, I was telling you that in 1996, when they took over Kabul, the only source of weapons for the Taliban was Pakistan and some surplus from Soviet and CIA surplus weapons. But they were getting a little tired of these hand-me-downs from the Pakistan army.
Leftover.
They reached out to a young Victor Boot, who used his Central African Airlines to fly out Soviet weapons from Bulgaria to Afghanistan by faking end-user certificates. Now, I'm making a reference to the book Merchant of Death, authors Douglas Farah and Stephen Brown. Please read it. Published 2007. Victor Boot is the same guy who armed the RUF in the Sierra Leone Civil War and Charles Taylor in Liberia. The point that I'm trying to make to you, and I hope you understand this, Rana Ihsan, you cannot control the Taliban. In 1996, they had found an alternative route to weaponize themselves.
Sir. Okay, for your
This time they have said, we are coming after you. They have said on the border, they are telling your soldiers, we are coming after you.
Absolutely they are.
You are in no position to control them, they are coming after you.
Fixed border. It's not a line anymore.
No. One minute. Go on. Rana, please. Rana.
We have forces.
Rana, louder.
About any
Rana, please,
problem. We have destroyed terrorism in Pakistan. There were 2,000 bomb blasts in 2013, and now there are near to none. So don't worry about Pakistan.
Then why are you scared that the TTP might be coming for you?
Well, TTP is coming for you.
Why are you scared that TTP could be coming for you?
They are coming for you. You give it 6 months, they're at your door. They're at your door. The Chinese won't even help you this time. And towards the end of the debate, Nishi Singh writes to me on Arnav Online, says the way Republic has covered the Afghanistan crisis is by far better than the coverage of the existing global media houses, which have become the mouthpiece of the Taliban. Absolutely. And that's why we are going to launch global media very soon. Kalpana Deshpande says, thank you, Republic, for the brilliant coverage on Afghanistan today. I've got an absolutely brilliant, very hardworking team. Neelam Aldankar says, we won't speak to Talibanis who are terrorists. They've taken over Afghanistan illegally and by force. And Neelam, it's unfortunate. Some Indian channels are dying for interviews with the Taliban spokesperson, almost like the BBC. And that's it tonight. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Pleasure and privilege. Good night and goodbye.